Can you tell me a bit more about unity? Because as far as I understand it, of course, you've mentioned it's country to country and individual to individual, but it's also Earth to the greater universe.
Everyone would understand what unity means, but not apply it. We don't work in unity. Who does? What family works in unity? What relationship works in permanent unity? Which another word for that will be harmony. They don't. There's always conflict. It's how we resolve that and get through that, and how we see ourselves as a part of something bigger. The problem with unity is that everyone's seeing themselves as the centre of the universe. So therefore there can't be unity. It's only when there's proper harmony and equality that we can ever get to unity. The earth is not going to shift while everyone thinks themselves to be the most important or their country to be the most important, and this is exacerbated by the lamentable leadership through the world politically, and it's been thus almost forever. Leaders are seen as great in wartime and leading us into war and so forth. That's not what we're on earth for, not at all. These are the fundamental shifts that are required, and they'll only get there through unity, so therefore we have to see bigger, and we have to see that we're a part of something. The knowledge we have includes the way that greater universe operates, and the energetic way it operates, and the effect of that upon Earth, and how pretty much we're saved because of that. And Earth's meant to contribute, but we're not at a state after all of this time to be able to properly contribute back to the greater universe. So there's a consistency, a constancy in how it all works, right down to the operation of the body, right down to everything. We need to see ourselves as not number one. We need to see that we're part of something that's massive, and we're just the smallest wee part of that on Earth, and then we can't even get it right on Earth. So we can't even get it right amongst ourselves. So if we can, that's because there's no harmony in our own mind. We're not even unified with ourselves. We're fighting for competing things. We don't know what we want to achieve. And there's something inside us that says, this is why I came here. This is the spiritual reason I came here. Therefore, the reason I exist. And that's competing with all of the cultural forces about power, about greed, about money, about status. None of those have anything much to do with unity. Therefore, we're at conflict with ourselves. Therefore, we're at conflict with our partner. Therefore, we're at conflict with our family. Therefore, we're at conflict with the world. And the world is at conflict with everything else.
And I want us to understand the concept, Carla, that what we take from the environment, the ocean, the mining, wherever we take and wherever we destabilize energy, that energy has to be given back from somewhere else. It's give and it's take, it's give and it's take. So some other part of our universe is giving to fill up, to replace the energy that we have taken. We do a lot of work, and we've been taught a lot of work from Spirit on the understanding of the power of the moon. The moon is our great transmitter and receiver, astronomically, and not understood by man how important that is to the whole stabilization of the universe. We have to take on board, we're talking now about going to other planets and mining other planets so that we can bring back the minerals for greed, back to finance, back to greed. We have to understand we can't do this. It's not correct to do this, to even be considering it, to take from another planet, to mine another planet, even if we could, is destabilizing the entire universe. Another planet in the universe must give back to the planet that we have decimated in order to stabilize the world that we're living in. And this is not understood. It is not understood by our science. It is not understood by our philosophers. But I want to leave that concept very much on the table for people to start to think about this, and for the populace of the world to start to say to politicians, to business, to those that are trying to make those decisions, is to say, no, we won't accept this. We won't stand for this because it is not correct. It is harming Earth, and it is harming other places in the universe.
That's one of the other things that I think we would love to leave behind, is the knowledge that if we place our trust and our faith and our hope in our political leaders, we're lost. We're being given options to give up so much of that power under financial incentives, and that's not good. There has to be a personal accountability, and the world will change when people realise that they've got the power to tell leaders what to do, not the reverse. Coming back to this mining from other places of existence or other planets, sadly, deeply sadly, the people who are doing that see themselves as pioneers. We see them as pioneers of destruction, and that's nothing to be proud of. It's a misuse of money and of power. What we're aware of, and one of the entities we work with on our council is an entity that is from another place of existence. The question can be posed, what if he landed himself, for example, on the White House lawn and announced to the world at large that we've got it all wrong, we're doing it wrong, and we need to do things in a more unified, harmonious way for our own betterment and for the betterment of the whole greater universe, also so that he might go home and be with his family. Stands in the way of so many vested interests. He most likely would be shot, and it's very sad. There's nothing about it that would work, but we have to earn our own way as well. And that's what we're not doing.
Religion has got a very vested interest in this too, and I'm not in any shape or form being critical of religion. Religion has served a very good purpose for many people in the world. But if you have this little entity arriving on the White House lawn who's not very big, telling the leaders of all religions in the world that what they believe in is not correct, they need to be sending a different message. I think you could see, and a lot of people could see, that would cause a lot of chaos, a lot of havoc in the world. There would be mass hysteria. There is not a concept because of men's superiority and how we see ourselves in the world as being so clever and so knowledgeable. There is not yet a pure concept that there is people from other planets who are so much more advanced than we are, and we're not really at the stage yet where we would want to accept that and we would want to welcome him.
Do you have an idea of when we will be ready to accept that or hear that?
Hopefully in 500 years, but who knows? Who knows? It's like spiritual knowledge. There is so much information which is quite base and a lot of it trite and a lot of it just incorrect. But that's an entree or an entry point for so many people. It should never be an end point. It should be the start of an exploration. Unfortunately, spiritual knowledge, like everything else, has allowed itself to get very commercialized. So it then becomes, what can I sell at a low level? And the lower the level, the more the people interested. That's symptomatic of Earth, it's symptomatic of life on Earth. And this spiritual community is no different to that. Not ours per se, but in the world at large. That's part of what has to happen, that we have to take ourselves somewhere else. We have to, and Pearl and I have tried to devote our lives to say, there's more. There's another way, and we can't stay in the trite. We didn't come to Earth for war. That's not why we're put on Earth. We didn't come to Earth to overpower each other. We didn't come to Earth to say, I've got so much and you've got nothing. That's not how Earth was meant to be. We're meant to see that and say, that's not working. How do we change that? And that can only come through unity in other ways and thinking beyond self. That's the difference. If we can just get people to see that. The trite is meant to be an entry point in all forms of things. So it's like Zutor coming, who's the entity, it will be rejected because it's high level. People have to work their way up and start to earn some stuff.
And what I find interesting too, Carla, is I read recently that this year, there are more elections being held in the world throughout the year than there has been in any other time in history. It's a year of where just country after country after country is having an election, where is the opportunity for people to speak. And yet you look at the world, we have more wars going on than we have ever had at any one point in time. So whilst people are speaking and politicians are getting shocked at the results that are coming out of the voting box, the voice is starting. It's starting. The question is it starting in the right place? Is it starting with unity, or is it starting with some very radical views? It's a question to watch the answer, isn't it?
For more spiritual knowledge, remember to subscribe. If any of the information Ian and Pearl spoke about piqued your interest, make sure you like and comment on this video below. There's so much knowledge and advice being delivered from Spirit to you via this channel. Healing your physical and emotional pains will guide you towards a more loving and meaningful life. This is the Spiritual Renaissance.